Good morning. How are you? Thank you for joining us this morning for a discussion on COVID-19 scams. My name is Brenda Price. I am the Associate State Director with AARP Michigan, and this presentation is being presented in partnership with the Institute of Gerontology at Wayne State University. Please stay on for the entire chat so you can get your questions answered. Our presenter this morning is Miss Latoya Hall. She is the Research Assistant and Program Director at the Institute of Gerontology at Wayne State University. Before she comes on, I'd like to just give you one tip. If you have questions for Latoya, you can write them in your comment section. And when we get to the break, we will answer the questions. So we really appreciate you joining us this morning. She is an expert with a wealth of information. Welcome, Latoya. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Good morning, everyone. I'm waiting for the presentation to come up. I don't think we got our cue to go yet, did we?
Yes, we are live.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about protecting yourself from scams during the era of COVID-19. The program at Wayne State University is a safe program, and it's successful aging through financial empowerment. And we do a lot of scam and identity theft work with older adults.
Tonight, a warning from the FBI amid this emergency about scams. And here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a stark warning from the FBI as thousands.
Sorry about that. We're going to see if we can run it again. I'm having some trouble with the video.
Tonight, a warning from the FBI amid this emergency about scams. And here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a stark warning from the FBI as thousands of American consumers say they've been the target of COVID-19 scams. The FTC reporting today more than 15,000 complaints, nearly doubling the number recorded last week. Almost $12 million in losses and counting. The FBI making arrest after arrest, including Keith Middlebrook.
I've created the cure for COVID-19, COVID-19, the coronavirus. This is it right here.
There is no cure, and Middlebrook has been arrested and charged with attempted wire fraud, accused of advertising a false claim to lure investors.
This influenza.
And tonight, the state of Missouri is suing televangelist Jim Baker after his TV show promoted a silver solution cure for COVID-19, a potion in a bottle that you could buy for $80. Baker's company says it was his guests who touted the product, but they have stopped offering it. The litigation is pending. And then there are those suspect robocalls.
We can qualify you to get a free diabetic monitor and a complimentary testing kit for coronavirus.
And websites promising to deliver a coronavirus vaccine for a fee when no such vaccine exists. David, folks at home should ignore online offers for cures, vaccinations, and home test kits. Some of this stuff can be truly dangerous. David?
Pierre, thank you.
Okay, so that leads me into one of the first things to mention about the coronavirus scams. At this time, there are no cures, vaccinations, or home testing kits for the coronavirus. So this has been a huge part of the scams that are going on with scammers. People are offering cures for payment. They're offering vaccines and home testing kits. Unless this advice comes from a healthcare professional, or if something is from the Center for Disease Control or Prevention itself, you should probably ignore it and know at this time no one has a cure. There's no approved vaccine, and there's no approved home testing kit. So anyone trying to sell you these things are trying to take your money. Another scam that we've run into during the COVID-19 era is the sick relative scam. Now, some of you may have heard of the grandparent scam, where a grandchild supposedly calls up in distress. Center for Disease Control or Prevention itself, you should. some of you may have heard of the grandparent scam, where a grandchild calls up and asks for help. Well, the sick relative scam is really similar to that. It's where someone calls and they post to be a sick relative, sick with COVID-19. They're in the hospital and they need money for care. That money is supposed to be for their care to COVID-19 in the hospital, and they ask the older adult to wire the money or send an amount of money to a friend to pay for their care at the hospital. There's no sick relative in the hospital. Usually it's scammers. Just some things you want to remember if you should ever get one of these calls is always verify the information that you're given, even if that's calling the person that supposedly contacted you. So say it's your niece or nephew or something, you may want to call that person and find out if they're really sick, or call someone else that can verify. And then never send money to people you don't know. So never send money to a friend or a stranger or someone to pay the hospital. You may want to contact the hospital or something. Next slide, please. Another thing that we've seen going around is assisting with grocery shopping or running errands. And this is someone, they'll usually contact an older adult door to door or call or maybe email or text message. And they offer to do shopping for you or go out and run errands, pick up medications. They ask for cash or debit card numbers or bank account information to pay for the item and to pay them for the service. They get the money and they never deliver the groceries or items or return the money. You want to be really careful about people you don't know offering to do your shopping or running errands for you. Just a couple of alternatives. You may want to trust assistance with these tasks only to family members or close friends, people that you know. I know a lot of people don't want to go into the stores right now. So another thing that you may want to do is use convenience apps. For example, Instacart, that's the one that I use. They'll deliver your groceries right to your doorstep. Uber Eats, where if you want to order maybe a carry out or takeout meal or something, someone can pick that up and drop it off on your doorstep. Kroger has pickup, where you can put your order in on their app and you can pay for it on your app, put it in on your app and go and open your trunk and they'll put it right into the back of your car. And then you want to check the various stores and see if they have those services. I know Kroger is offering the pickup. I'm sure Myers offers it. And I think Walmart offers it, and some other stores may. So you may want to check with that before you have someone actually go and do your shopping and run errands. Try to find alternate ways, especially don't have someone do it who you do not know. Next slide. Another one is the stimulus check scams. Now, most people have gotten the stimulus checks, but we do have talk of another round of checks coming. So we noticed these scams very early on in the first round of the economic impact payments. Callers were calling people claiming to be from the IRS. They would ask people for social security numbers, bank and debit account information. Some of them would say they were sending checks, and they would send a check and they would say that they sent a check, but it was the overpayment of funds. So that say something like the IRS sent your check, but you were only supposed to receive $1,200 and you received $1,700. Could you cash the check and send us back $500? That is a scam. What usually happens is once the check is cleared on your end, you're able to withdraw the $500 and send it back. But it takes less days on the consumer's end to clear than it does for the bank. So in about a week or two, the bank finds out it was a fake check. And then even though you sent them $500 of that money, you owe your bank the full $1,700. So you want to watch out for that. And then there were some people asking for payments to process stimulus checks. You want to really watch out for these things. Some things you should remember about this. You don't have to pay anyone to get your stimulus money. If you are eligible, those payments automatically are direct deposited, or you will automatically receive a check. The IRS will not tell you to deposit a check and send them back money. They will never do that. They won't call you to process your stimulus funds. If there's any questions about your stimulus check, you should go to irs.gov/coronavirus and submit your information for checks. So here's another one that we have seen. It's called the contact tracing scam. So you may have heard about contact tracing. This is when someone is infected with COVID-19 and the local health department tries to identify the people that they came in contact with since their exposure and contact them to let them know to self-isolate or to come in for a test. So this is a human contact tracing scam. If you got in a text message like this, and it says someone you came into contact with was positive for COVID-19, and they recommend that you get tested, and they'll ask you to click a link. Now, usually this is a spam text message. That link is going to download some malware onto your device, and they'll be able to go into your device and get information that they shouldn't be able to get. Usually with contact tracing, you may get a text message first with the contact tracing if they have your cell phone number. But what it'll say is that you've come into contact with someone who's tested positive for COVID-19. You will be getting a call from this number from your health department, okay? They're not going to give you a link to click on and download. That link is a mistake. So if you see a text message come through like that with that link, you just want to delete that message and kind of ignore it. The local health department may send a text message making you aware that you'll be getting a call. The person who calls you may ask you to enroll in a daily text messaging program. But the text message that they send won't look like this, and then you won't get anything to enroll in the program until the person they tell you is going to calls. The person who calls you is definitely not going to ask for your social security number. They're not going to ask for bank account information. They're not going to ask for credit card information, and they're not going to ask you for money. So if a person calls you saying they're from the health department doing contact tracing and they ask for these things, that's a sign that it's a scam. I would say hang up and find a number to the local health department and call them directly. Another thing that we see, not only with COVID-19, but with every crisis, is charitable giving scams. So a few ways we see these. Sometimes it's a non-existent charity. It's someone who just made up a charity and they made something up and they post it and they're asking people to give money. Sometimes the scammer will use the names of legitimate charities. So sometimes you may get a text message or email from somewhere that's a legitimate charity name, like United Way, asking you to send money via this source. That may be a scam. So you want to just be aware of where you're sending your money and who you're giving to, and make sure if you want to give to the United Way that you're actually seeking out the United Way at an independent source and giving to them. Watch for people soliciting, because they could be using the names of very real charities to scam people out of money. Beware of GoFundMe, and I'm not saying GoFundMe in all is a scam, but GoFundMe isn't regulated a lot. And anyone can set up a GoFundMe for any reason. So at any point in time, anyone can go set up a GoFundMe for anything and ask for funds. And they don't have to answer to anyone how they spend those funds. So just be aware of giving money through GoFundMe. Beware of payments requested in cash by wire transfer or gift card. That's usually always a sign of a scam. Legitimate charities will not ask you to donate money in those ways. And beware of being rushed to make a donation. I would say that's like with anything. Rush to buy, rush to make a donation. Just be very leery of that. That's usually the sign that someone is trying to scam you. You can research charities before you give. And there are a few ways, so they're listed here. The Better Business Bureau has a Wise Giving Alliance where you can go and type in the charities' names and see what they're all about and determine if you want to give there. There's a Charity Navigator Charity Watch, and GuideStar. And if you Google any of those, you'll go to a website where you can research the individual charities before you actually give money. And then I get to this one, because a lot of times you get these phone calls or emails, or you go to websites, or you get text messages, and I'll get people that get them and they'll say, well, I didn't give them any money. A lot of times what people are doing is what we call phishing. They're not looking for money, they're looking for information. What is phishing? That's if you get a phone call from someone and you feel comfortable because they haven't asked you for any money or any bank account information, but they've asked you for your social security number and date of birth and things like that. They're looking to get information out of you. So you want to be careful about sharing personal information with unverified sources. I generally tell people, if you get a phone call, someone saying they're calling from the IRS, I mentioned the health department, they say they're calling from Medicare, or anywhere like that, and you can't verify where that call is coming from. I would never give them any information. I would thank them for calling, but I would then probably hang up the phone and find an independent number to that entity to be able to call back. And then at that point, ask them if they had called and if they needed any information from me, and give them that information at that point. Things that people fish for is banking information, credit card number, passwords or login information to various websites, social security numbers, etc.
Thank you, Latoya. That was very informative. We have a couple of questions. The first question is, can I call the police if I feel like I'm being scammed?
You can always call the police. However, if you have not given any money or any information, there is no crime committed, but you can always call the police. They will let you know if at that time, if they're able to take a report on that. The rule generally is, if someone has scammed you out of money, or if you've given over your information, it's good to call and make a police report. A lot of people just they don't call because they feel like the police aren't going to investigate, and sometimes they can't investigate everything. Sometimes these phone calls are coming from all over the world, but you can definitely call the police and they'll let you know what's reportable. A general rule, if they take money or if they get social security numbers, it's very important to report that, because if something ever comes up, if they commit identity theft or any type of bank fraud using the information that they've gotten from you, you have that police report to show that you were the victim of a scam and someone got your information through a scam when you go to let the people, the creditors or banks or various people know that you have been victimized by bank fraud or identity theft. No, you'll have a police report showing that someone illegally obtained your information.
We have another question. The information that you presented on the contact tracing is so important, because we're hearing so much about that on the news right now. Even in Michigan, our lead doctor for the state of Michigan is asking people to answer their phones if they see that they're getting a call from the health department. So the question is, can you reiterate the high points of that, what a person should be looking out for if they feel like they're being scammed, as opposed to a legitimate call from the health department?
So what you should be looking out for is not necessarily the call, but that initial text message. So legitimate health departments are doing it this way. They may send a text message, but that text message will just say, someone you know has, or someone you've come in contact with has tested positive or been exposed to COVID-19. You will be receiving a call in the next couple of days from this number. The scam text messages look like, someone you know or have come into contact with tested positive or has been exposed to COVID-19. Please click on this link. Once you click that link, it is like a malware virus link. It's going to download malware onto your computer or laptop or smartphone that's going to be able to access information that you don't want people getting to. Okay. And then when the person calls you, think about the information they're asking for. Someone calling to do contact tracing should just be calling to ask you about your contacts over the last couple of weeks. They shouldn't be calling to ask you for social security numbers. They shouldn't be calling to ask you for debit account information. They shouldn't be asking where you bank or what's your bank account number. They should not be asking for those things. So when people start asking for that personal and financial information, it's pretty safe to say, hang up the phone. Err on the side of caution. And I would say, you know, if you get a call and you're not sure, you can always tell those individuals that you're not comfortable and independently find a number to your local health department and call them yourself. Because one thing I always tell people is that when you get a call, you have no idea who's on the other end of that phone. But when you call, you know who you've called, okay? So if you're in doubt, that's something that I would say may help is, you know, calling back, not from the number that they called you from, but calling your local health department from a number that you found independently.
Thank you.
Okay, some things to remember. Always, if you're getting robocalls, it's a good idea to just hang up the call. Don't share your Social Security, bank account, Medicare, credit card, or other driver's license numbers with individuals contacting you. Don't send money to people you do not know. You want to fully research charities before you donate. Possibly only donate to charities that you've donated to in the past and established relationships with. Never cash a check and send a portion to someone and where they're going to send you the money back to cover overpayment. There's no approved home test or cure for the vaccine for the coronavirus at this time. And if something doesn't feel right, don't give in to pressure. Decline and do more research if necessary. Remember that we all want to help our loved ones if we can, but verify any information you receive from a call of a loved one in distress. Something that can help is checking your credit report for unfamiliar accounts. And this helps if someone has gotten a hold of your information and is trying to do fraud or identity theft. You can check that credit report at www.annualcreditreport.com. Right now, during the time of the coronavirus, they've expanded. Usually you get one free a year. At this time, you can request those weekly because they know there's so many scams going on, and so many people getting people's information and committing fraud. And then you also want to review your credit cards and bank statements for unfamiliar charges right now as often as possible. These are some places to report, and this leads to our question. These are some places where you want to report if you believe you've been the victim of a scam or fraud. Your local police department. The Better Business Bureau has a scam tracker application that they use. You can report at the FBI, and they usually do internet crimes, so crimes over the internet. I had someone who was contacted from supposedly a friend by email and instructed to send $400 in gift card numbers to scammers, and we had to report that on the Internet Crimes FBI site. Fraud Fighter Call Center, the Federal Trade Commission Complaint Assistant, and AARP Scam Tracker. Then you can also, if you ever have a problem that you feel like you're the victim of fraud or identity theft, you can also always call me. Our services are no cost. I will help you with all reporting and doing any recovery needs that we could possibly do. All of our services are free, and right now at this point in time, we're doing Zoom and telephone coaching services to address scams and identity theft. So we're taking people from all across the state of Michigan because everything is virtual. There's no need to drive and see me or me to come and see you. We can do everything we need to do virtually. Below is my contact information, so you can contact me. My name is LaToya Hall. You can contact me at 664-2608. And my email address, if you ever wanted to send me an email, is l.hall@wayne.edu. I frequently tell people, if you think there's a chance I can help you, it never hurts to reach out, give me a call, and see what we can do together. Don't be afraid to call because you think I'm not going to be able to help you, or I won't help you. Any information that I have, I will pass on. And if it's something that I can help with, I usually try to find someone who can. And this is the last slide. Thank you so much for coming and listening to our presentation about COVID-19 scams today. Again, my name is Latoya Hall. If you ever need my assistance, I can be reached at 313-664-2608 or l.hall@wayne.edu.
Thank you, Latoya, for that wonderful information. It was very informative. I just want to ask this one question. I want to be clear. I thought I heard you say you will work with individuals if they have a problem where they think that they may have been a victim of fraud. You are willing to help people one-on-one?
Yes, that is the main part of our program. We do these public education presentations, but the main part of our program is because you get so many education presentations on fraud, scams, and identity theft. The main component of our program and how we feel we stand out from some other programs is we actually do a one-on-one service to help with reporting and recovery needs. So anything someone feels like they need assistance with related to a scam, fraud, identity theft, or even personal financial issues, they can call us up and we will assist for no cost.
That is absolutely wonderful. That is a real benefit to the community, the state of Michigan, because you service people across the state. We just want to reiterate that. You don't have to be in Wayne State's zip code or Detroit. Ms. Hall will follow up with you from anywhere across the state. At this time, I want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning. We have Fraud Friday every Friday with tips and videos and live presentations. Next week, please join us Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. on a topic, protecting yourself from scams and identity theft. Again, my name is Brenda Price. I'm the Associate State Director for AARP in Michigan, and I appreciate you spending your morning with us. Thank you very much.